All right, folks, welcome back. And as I think you can probably hear, it's a little bit windy out right now, so we're getting a little bit of background noise here. But this week, I have a goal, and that goal is to get all the rest of these boards over here cut to length, because these are not quite the lengths that we need at the moment. And then also, these guys are the ones that we finished with last week. These are all cut to length. They're ready to go. I want to get all of those boards and these boards over here in place, hooked down, ready to go. So I think that should be an attainable goal for this week. I think so. If we're lucky, we might even get some of the wider boards that are still up in the old tobacco barn moved down here as well. I don't know. But my main goal is to get all of these narrower boards put in place. Alright, so we're doing a little bit of a bonus project here today before we get back to work on putting in floorboards. And that is, I had a guy who actually also runs a small farm here over in Blacksburg. And he asked me if I could do a little bit of milling for him. He had a few walnut logs from a tree that he just took down, and he wanted them slabbed up. So we got those here ready to go. We already got one on the sawmill here. A couple of them are pretty small. So we're gonna go ahead and get those done here today, and then hopefully we'll have a little bit of time afterwards to get a few more floorboards put in. Alright, well, we got the first couple little ones done. We got the one there, and you can kind of see it's over there somewhere. It's in the shadows, but the two little ones are done. We still have the two big ones left to do, but we got to get these two out of the way first. And I think what I'm going to do is we're going to move them over here kind of into the shade underneath these trees. It's easy to get to. It's kind of flat. It's out of the way. I think it sounds like a good place to put them. Alright, we got the little ones stacked up over there. So now we're moving on to our bigger ones, and the next one that we got lined up here is actually the biggest of the four, and hopefully it should be the nicest as well. My only concern with it is that when the tree was dropped, this one branch over here did kind of split out, so hopefully that didn't go in too far into there, but if it didn't, we should have some nice figure coming through this little crotch through here. Alright, we got this big one all slabbed up, so that leaves us with just the kind of the biggest of the small ones over there left to do. Last log up here, and this one is just a smidge too wide. It's pushing about 24 inch, and we've only got about 23 in between our blade guides across here. So we're gonna grab the chainsaw real quick, just take just a little bit off on either side, then we can get to milling this guy up. Alright, well, we got all those logs finished. Took maybe, I don't know, 2.5 hours or so. So we'll cut off a little bit of time there because, you know, I have to stop and talk to you guys and move cameras around, stuff like that. So I want to make sure we don't overcharge them for time where I wasn't doing anything. So now, as you can see, we are up here in the loft, and we're ready to start putting some of these floorboards down that we got cut to length yesterday. Alright, well, we had a couple runs in there that didn't go on camera. Sometimes, you know, I just kind of get in the groove. I'm just working, putting down boards, and I forget to check the cameras to make sure that they're still running because they're on a timer when they're doing the time lapse for 15, 30, 45, whatever you want them to go for. And sometimes I forget to reset them after the time goes up. So we are almost 2/3 of the way done. So these center spacers or bridging or whatever you want to call it, these are the halfway mark for this longer span, or the 2/3 of the way mark for the entire floor up here. So we are just about there. I'm wrapping it up for today, but we'll be back out here again tomorrow. We are running kind of low on boards, so hopefully we'll be able to get past this 2/3 of the way mark, be at least that far done. And then I think we'll probably have time to go up, get some more boards, and bring them down here to the Millhouse. Alright, well, you may be able to hear it, but we have a little bit of rain coming down today, but we're staying nice and dry in here, so that is not a problem. So let's see if we can't get the rest of these narrow boards put down. So we are getting down in the number of boards that we have left here. So I figure we might have 3 or 4 runs left of boards. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna lay out what I've got, see how far I can get with what's here, and then also look at kind of what's left over and how I can potentially recut those so that they fit in places where I'm lacking certain sizes. And one other thing is, we've still got some other kind of odds and ends of boards over here. Some of them are stickers for, you know, drying wood. Some of it's just random pieces of wood. We got to get those out of here because we're kind of running out of open floor joist space. Alright, well, these last few runs always take the longest to get laid out because I'm trying to get as much out of them as possible. So I actually have 5 more laid out here, which is better than I was thinking I might get. I was thinking if I could get another 3, maybe 4, I'd be doing good. But 5 more laid out here. So these are ready to go. So before we start putting these down, let's get this stuff moved out of the way. We can just kind of chuck it right down in between the floor joist here, get it out of here. And then we can put down these last 5 runs of the narrow floorboards. Alrighty, that is gonna do it for these narrow boards. The thing that gets me with this is I still am not quite sure how I came up so far off on my estimation with the narrow boards, because with the ones that were just a little bit wider over in this area, I was almost dead on with where I thought I was gonna end up. These guys, I came up with maybe 2/3, maybe 3/4 of where I thought I was gonna end up with. So somewhere I must have done some wrong calculations here. But anyway, we've got a little bit of time left here today, so I think we ought to hook up the forks to the skid steer, head up to the old tobacco barn and pick up some of those wider boards that we're going to use to finish off this area of the floor. Alright, we got our load of boards back down here to the mill house, but you know, some idiot parked his truck underneath here. I mean, so it's blocking the way. I can't get underneath there. And so, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna have to wait until the next day I'm out here or something to... You hear that? Hey! Hey! You... I don't know. The truck's gone. I don't know who was parking down here. I mean, you would think you would have a little bit of privacy in the middle of 200 acres, But you know, it just happens all the time. Someone just randomly parks their truck underneath my Millhouse. I don't know who it is. I think I need to set up cameras or something, but either way, it's not here anymore, so I guess we can dump the boards in here now. Alright, well, we got our boards down here ready to go, and as you may recall from a few weeks back, the next thing we need to do is go through all these and pull all the nails out of them that were left behind when they got ripped out of the farmhouse. In case you don't know, this is the ghost of future me. So past me was thinking that we might get a little bit more work done, maybe one more day of work done last week, but unfortunately that wasn't to be. So I had to come back from the future here into last week to come back and close up the video. So next week, which is actually this week for me, we will be starting on this pile of boards that I'm actually sitting on right here and working on getting the nails out of these and hopefully putting some of these into the loft as well. And I will see you, I guess, this week, next week, I don't know.